Himalaya Wellness is one of the leading global herbal healthcare brands that continues to harness the science of Ayurveda since the 1930s. Now present in over 100 countries, they continue to spread the promise of wellness in every home, happiness in every heart, to millions of people around the globe. Welcome to the House of Wellness Season 2, a podcast powered by Himalaya Wellness Company. This year, the theme is holistic wellness. What does that even mean? There are many assets to being holistically well, and by talking to people who've excelled in their fields of sport or health or the social sector, we try and learn more about aspects such as mindfulness, or mental health, nutrition, sustainable living, and all of that in an attempt to lead a healthier, happier life. The House of Wellness Season 2 is something that we gain knowledge through and inspiration to ensure that we use that as the fulcrum of our life to lead happier, healthier life. I'm Charu Sharma. I'm delighted to have the CEO of Akshaya Patra with us, Mr. Shridhar Venkat, who of course has done an enormous amount of work, dedicated his life to ensuring that people are better fed, and the whole concept of nutrition, to take those who are slightly underprivileged into an area where they are not that underprivileged anymore. Shridhar, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Charu, for having me on the show.
You know, I mean it when I say that I'm overwhelmed, because people do what they do to earn a living or to take their lives forward. But to me, going beyond the call of duty and helping those who are underprivileged is God's work, really. And you guys at Akshaya Patra have been fantastic. Tell us a little more about the length and the width, the breadth of everything that Akshaya Patra does under your tutelage.
So, Charu, Akshaya Patra's strategic vision is no child in India will be deprived of education because of hunger. And we started in the year 2000 with just 1,500 children, 5 schools in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of East. And today we feed over 2 million children in over 20,000 schools across 15 states and 2 union territories. One of the distinguishing factors of Akshaya Patra is, we don't just feed people who are hungry. It's strategic because meal becomes an incentive for these children to come to school. And that's how Akshaya Patra scaled up, using frugal innovation, a lot of missionary spirit and professionalism. And we just cover less than 2% of India's government school-going children population.
I was about to ask that, because sometimes it can be so self-defeating in that you're helping so many children, and yet it's only 2% of what you could do. One can just imagine the amount of work still left. And I hope that you're getting increasing support for your effort as you go along.
Charu, our country runs the world's largest school meal program, and Government of India has done a phenomenal job with various state governments. We are a public-private partnership, and India has got about 110 million children who go to the government schooling system and who get a midday meal. We run the world's largest school meal program, Government of India.
So when you say public-private, where's the support that you're getting? Is also from the government, because those are the schools, and is that being buoyed by private support, corporate support?
Yes. So when I say public-private partnership, we are implementers of the government's midday meal program. So close to 50% of what we require comes in the form of cash subsidy and grain subsidy, the running expenditure. The balance we raise from corporates like Himalaya, corporates, trusts and foundations, individuals, retail donors, philanthropists.
Well, Himalaya, thank you. So obviously, let's get to the heart of the matter, the meal itself. And that could be a challenge, because what do you provide? You provide the same thing day in and day out. The ingredients need to be very carefully sourced. So there are plenty of challenges there itself to begin with. So
let me give you a little purview of the scale, actually. So we handle about 5,000 tons of food raw material every day, 500 tons.
Oh gosh, even that's a lot.
Yeah. And typically a kitchen which feeds 100,000 children handles about 7 tons of grains, 5 tons of pulses, 5 tons of dairy, and 5 tons of vegetables.
But all this is obviously not done at a central place, because you're looking after all of India. So there are different centers which get the same set of ingredients.
So what Akshaya Patra does is, we have not standardize the meal across the country. We have localized the meal because our whole objective is the child should get what his mother or her mother will cook if she had resources. Of course, nobody can match a mother's cooking. So we try to come as close as possible and try to give variation. You spoke about standardization. We change the meal after 15 days. That means every day the meal changes, and after 15 days it gets repeated actually.
An enormous task.
Yeah.
Let's get to the wellness part and the nutrition part of the meal, because obviously you must take great care in ensuring that it's not just a bland meal, it's a nutritious meal, and perhaps the most important meal for these children all day long, day after day.
For many of these children, this is the single biggest meal which they get in the day. And this meal becomes an incentive for these children to come to school. For us, the challenge is it should not be just nutritious. Even before nutrition, it has to be safe. So it has to be hot, safe, nutritious, and above all, tasty meal. Because you're dealing with children and they are very discerning. Just because they come from bottom of the pyramid, you can't give them what they don't like. So continually, that's the challenge. How do you ensure that these children get a hot, safe, nutritious, and yet a very tasty meal?
And within all of that, do you think they also get an enhanced knowledge and understanding of what is good for the body, what is good for them as they go on to lead their lives after school?
When Akshaya Patra feeds children in school, what we are trying to do, we are also come up with a project called Eat Well, where children are taught gratitude. They are taught to thank the person who's serving them, the organization which is serving them, gratitude to the teachers. So idea is not only we provide meal, but also give a holistic experience for these children. So it's a pilot which we have started, though that's not our core area as of now, but we feel this will be complete when we do an Eat Well project.
The fact that there are so many different kinds of diet, and you must have picked this up yourself when you read what is good for you today is not good for you tomorrow, and vice versa. Because I know there's the usual mantra of regional, seasonal, and local. And how would you balance that against what is good for you and what's not good for you?
So what we do, Charu, is we do research before we get into a place. For example, Orissa will give an Orissan meal. In Gujarat, we'll give these children sukhdi. And because their mother will be making that, dal dhokli. So making sure that we localize the palate, sourcing may be central, localization of palate, and continual research in terms of taste and preferences of these children.
Is there some research that you do on what it does to the children? Are they all in much better health now? And are they being able to understand the value of what they're getting at school, which may or may not be replicable at home?
The other day I met a boy who's 6 feet 3 inches tall. 10 years Akshaya Patra beneficiary, received a scholarship from us. First attempt he has cleared chartered accountancy examination. Now that's holistic, and the impact of serving a hot, safe, nutritious meal and giving a bit of access to education and scholarship. That's the power of a meal.
Well, it's a lovely story, I must admit. You mentioned that you also teach them how to be grateful for what they receive. So there's a certain amount of mindfulness, if I can use that term, that these children may also be developing through what you teach them. Is that a possibility?
So when we did a survey some time back, what do you like in Akshaya Patra meal? The first answer was, we like the teacher. Though we don't serve teachers, okay? So children love what the teachers teach. So Indian government school teachers also do a great job in terms of teaching them moral values, in terms of teaching them gratitude. We just need to be a catalyst. That's what Akshaya Patra is trying to do, because our core or flagship program is serving a hot, safe, nutritious meal to children. 20 lakh or 2 million children day after day.
Again, I say a huge number. Let me get on to mental health. Now, in urban India, we hear a lot more about, should we say, mental situations which require assistance, depression and so on and so forth. You deal with the strata of society which perhaps are not elated at their situation. Yet, how do you find their average mental health of all the children that you must come across in schools?
I have seen children coming from upper class or upper middle class, because I meet different children, and I see children who go to the government schooling system. The children who go to government schooling system, they have fire in their belly. What they need is just access. They need access to good food and good education. I'll just give you a story. It really happened. Before COVID, there was noise outside my office. So I saw 4 young boys wearing blue uniform. That's a government school uniform, navigating a robot into my office. they had made a robot from scrap. And one boy was carrying a big medal. This was a medal from a national competition on robotics, beating some of the best private schools in the country.
What a heartwarming story. Fantastic.
Yeah. So many times we have a wrong perspective. But if we provide them access to education and food, they develop into very strong individuals.
Let's pick up on the term stress. Do you think the more their ambition grows, children from less privileged strata of society, does it cause an imbalance, a stress that, how do we possibly break out of this? We are getting a good meal, yes, we're getting some education, but how do we break out of this circle of being underprivileged? Is that a stress for them, do you think?
So many of these children know that they are coming from bottom of the pyramid and they live within their means. So these children, once they know that my parents have struggled hard and have brought me to school, and this organization giving me food, and they're giving me scholarship. So gratitude in these children is way ahead, and a notch ahead when compared to many other children, actually.
Sometimes a lot of education is great, but then the avenues of employment, should we say, also need to be there, because you get educated, and then if you don't find suitable employment, sometimes it can create a little bit of dissonance.
Government of India gives 14,000 crores worth of scholarship to children who are needy, and these children are not aware of. So Akshaya Patra started an initiative called Avsar, where we matched what a child needs in terms of scholarships, and we gave scholarship to about 3,000 children using this portal called Avsar. If you really see some of the best brains in India, some of the best bureaucrats, they all come from government schools.
Well, also come from government schools.
They also come from government. Absolutely.
True. Shridhar, let's move on to another valuable aspect of holistic wellness, hygiene. And since you deal with situations or are exposed to situations where hygiene may not be automatically understood or offered, is that a challenge, or do you think that's also now improving at least?
So definitely it is improving, but I think what we need is the corporates, the public who have resources, if we all can come together and ensure that these children who go to government schools have the basic awareness of hygiene, basic starting from hand wash, or importance of how hygiene plays an important role in wellness.
What's your personal story in terms of wellness, in terms of exercise and everything else that you consider to be a nicer, more holistic, happier, healthier way of living?
Happiness is core to wellness. And when we say wellness, it definitely has mental, physical, spiritual aspect as well. And every soul is looking for two things. One, it is looking for pleasure or happiness. Another, it is looking to serve. One may agree or may not agree. Now, whom do you serve? And service and happiness are very well correlated. Many a times when we do look at wellness, people only look at physical fitness, okay, which is very important. So one needs to have a balance between the two. Otherwise, it will be like you're having a golden cage which has a parrot inside, and you take care of the cage very well and kill the parrot without feeding it.
You said happiness is the key to wellness, but how do you attain that? You've touched upon it. But do you think just looking inwards, meditation, other aspects of spiritualism are just as much of a key to holistic wellness as some others?
One very simple thing which I found in my case was if a living entity finds purpose in life, and I feel wellness and purpose are very strongly correlated. So if you have purpose in life, you will take efforts to be fit mentally, physically, and spiritually. Please take time in finding the purpose, but do find the purpose of your life.
Not easy though.
Not easy, but I think purpose fuels passion. And one also needs to find out what's the goal of my life. Is it eating, mating, sleeping, and defending? That even dogs also do. What can be done beyond that? So it's very, very important that one really looks inwards, and of course there are a lot of guidance available, authentic scriptures are available.
In the world of, should we call it, spiritual sustenance, there's so much available now in terms of information.
Right.
How does an individual sift and find what is truly universally acceptable and useful, and what may lead him to paths which are perhaps not so useful, or a downward spiral?
So what happens is all of our ancient texts have come down in disciplic succession. So one needs to find which succession it is coming and then get the essence of it and take time to find which one should I follow? Because as you rightly said in the beginning, there is a gap between expectation and happiness, right? So one needs to really look at what am I getting into, research and find out how authentic it is. Is it coming from disciplic succession? Is it authentic, or is it just run-of-the-mill, fly-by-night kind of a philosophy that is coming? Is it coming from age-old traditions of the country? And India is replete with such knowledge. So that's where you need a spiritual master who comes in an authorized succession, right from God. Then you ask questions to the right people, then decide what needs to be done. And then once you're in this path, then your physical part, clarity of life, what are you looking for, all those things come together, and automatically wellness becomes an outcome. You don't have to go after wellness.
Well, that's a wonderful situation to be. Wellness comes to you. You don't have to go to wellness. Yeah. Are more and more people, do you think, in India, because that's our sphere, understanding that giving is an important part of life? Do you find more people contributing to social causes, to helping the underprivileged?
It is going up, especially amongst youngsters. We run an internet initiative. I see when we dissect the people who are giving, a lot of youngsters want to give. Youngsters want to be in organizations which has purpose, which is focused on wellness.
Well, that's good news, because as you said, there's a give back as well. The more you serve, the more you receive in many ways.
In fact, I met a professor at Harvard Business School. He has, by research, found out that one can buy happiness. One can buy happiness by giving. When you give selflessly, you will become happier.
I also want to touch upon exercise, because we've dealt with nutrition, the mental side of things, but exercise is also something that's an essential ingredient of holistic wellness. And do you have a personal philosophy on exercise?
One needs to have balance, whether it is recreation, whether it is exercise, whether it is nutrition. Have a balanced life. Overdoing exercise can kill you.
We've seen people now, sadly, passing away in gyms and what have you.
Very fit guys. Like, one needs to have a balance, and I think one needs to really manage ambition to reality. That's extremely important. If you have goals of 8-pack in 6 months, then you're not heading anywhere.
The schools that you operate in, is there some additional, enhanced awareness, if not opportunity, to get into more sort of physical regimes and exercise regime?
Huge opportunity. And the kids love it. They don't have basic infrastructure. Many of them don't have, but they want to. During even lunch break, they'll quickly finish their lunch and go for playing. So things like Khelo India or what you're doing can really, really help.
The strength of mentally being at peace with oneself. Now, especially for the youngsters, that may be a very difficult concept, because their minds are full of ambition and so much more to do. But how do you calm? Because calmness is also very big, according to me, part of holistic wellness. How do you calm the children and yet keep them vibrant and ambitious? Because there seem to be different tracks.
See, if these children from very well-to-do families, they go out and talk to children who are less privileged than them. They can understand how much privilege they are. Naturally calm them. And if parents guide them, parents should not set goals which are just not possible or very impractical. I think the child should be given a lot of freedom while giving direction and fundamentals in terms of values. Values are very, very important for calming down a person, because anxiety and lack of values are correlated.
I have to find out through you. You said 2%. That leaves 98%. So much work still to be done. Is upscaling a reality? Is it happening? Is it a really tough grind after 2%?
So, Charu, India is feeding all these children. Okay, out of this 100% of the children, 2% is what we are feeding. Okay, and scaling is definitely possible. What we are trying to do is trying to create a collaborative where all our learnings and unlearnings can be shared. And someone asked me, why don't you patent what you have done? I told them, we don't want to capitalize on hunger. And recently, a few women came from Nigeria, 5 of them, and learned about Akshaya Patra, and they are feeding 50,000 children back in Nigeria.
Wow. It's a global movement. And you are the CEO.
Trying to do our bit.
Fantastic. A final word on medicine versus the so many other forms of healing that exist in India.
I feel India should look to Ayurveda, and not only Ayurveda is just medicine, is way of living, holistic, and time-tested and proven. So I believe each one of us should look at time-tested Ayurvedic concepts, which talks about very fundamental things and is aimed at wellness.
Shridhar, it's been a pleasure. We do have a final section called Rapid Fire.
Yep.
So if you don't mind, I'll try and keep the questions short and you can keep the answers very short.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Sure, absolutely.
What one word best describes the impact of the Akshaya Patra Foundation?
Transformation.
Brilliant. What is the primary source of inspiration for your efforts to eradicate hunger?
My spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who gave the visionary seed for a program like this.
What one word drives your motivation to create a hunger-free society?
Partnership.
What is the one word that you consider vital for the sustainability of your initiatives?
Collaboration.
You're full of brilliant words. Well done. What single word captures the legacy you aim to leave through your transformative work?
Hope.
Brilliant. Shridhar, it's been a real pleasure. And I marvel once again at all the work that you've done beyond what one would say is the call of duty.
Thank you so much.
And to all of you listening, I hope you are inspired by all the terrific stuff that Akshaya Patra is doing and better understand that it's not just a personal journey. Sometimes to be collaborative or do it together gives us equal joy. And such a lot of good work is being done by him. I hope you have the opportunity sometimes of joining the Akshaya Patra family, as it were, by contributing, because as he said, giving is receiving and one of the best ways to find happiness, which can then lead you onto holistic wellness. An absolutely brilliant session. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the House of Wellness Season 2, where really it's all about you. So stay well, be kind, be compassionate, and we'll see you again next time.